Good evening, welcome to the award-winning To Hull and Back podcast, proudly sponsored by Old Zoological Bar in Hull. I'm your host Nathaniel, and tonight I'm joined by Will and Christian to celebrate Hull City being in the playoffs for two full, well, maybe not full weeks, 13 days until the next championship match on Friday. I think Preston are playing, so I can just sit back and relax, and I've been saying I just want us to be in the playoffs properly for one match week, and we've got it at the best point going into an international break after a 3-2 win against Portsmouth. And really a very easy one. You know, we just, tossed them aside, really, didn't we? And it was a nice, comfortable 90 minutes of dominance. Right?
Really?
You're bad at the sarcasm thing.
Yeah, I am. I'm bad at the hosting thing as well, I think. Just want to show everyone watching, I have a cat in here with me. So he gets to be on the podcast. I hope you saw him when I turned the camera around.
He seems as infused as you.
Well, I was saying before
I'm sure the people listening on audio heard that.
Yeah, I was speaking to my they saw it. Yeah, speaking to my family before the episode started, and I don't really know what to talk about when we win and things are going really well because I don't really feel like there's a much of a debate. However, I have prepared a question at the end, and I've prepared some pros and cons, so we'll get on to that. But Will, we were saying before the episode, what a win! What a win! Talk.
I think he's locked up. Are you back, Will?
No, I think he's just... I can see him moving, so I think he's just refusing to answer me. Well, Christian, what a win!
Yeah, it was a good win, wasn't it? It's one of those wins for me where you were either expecting the draw or a loss beforehand, just because. It just had that kind of thing about it, because obviously I wasn't on the other day, and I mean, obviously we haven't really said much anyway about the Derby game either, and obviously don't want to say much about the Derby game, other than I obviously wasn't happy myself with the Canada Calamity mistake from Pando. But I guess he's earned one. But then at the same time, there has been some critical questions regarding Pando in recent times. I felt he commanded his box a lot better against Pompey. He came out and is a lot better than usual. Come on, he doesn't usually command his box at all. You've got to be fair, he never does.
Well, the only one that springs to mind is we concede the first goal. You could argue that he could have caught it. That's the one thing,
yeah.
Well, I suppose the other debate, and we'll get onto it, maybe the major thing at Derby is the whose fault was the goal. But yeah, carry on, Christian, until then.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. That's the debate about Pando, I guess we could look at. But yeah, what a win. I mean, the third goal, obviously, to finish it, I mean, was an absolute bit of beauty. It was simple, direct over the top, but the ball that was placed from Hughes was just with pace, accuracy, timing of the run from Galar. It was a great goal. It was just one of those great goals where it was so simple, but so entertaining to just keep watching over and over again. And the game was full of good goals from us as well, really good goals, which is nice to see. People getting on the scoreboard, which I didn't expect, even though they have done already. But I do feel that a certain player, and I'm not going to refer to the first goal scorer, I'm referring to the second goal scorer, where I just don't expect him to score. And again, this could be a controversial thing when I'm probably going to get a lot of hate sent my way. But he's a player that you can just debate about, someone who gives 110% and always will give 110%, and the effort and the running that he does game in, game out, which you've got to love and respect.
You're talking about Joseph, aren't you?
Oh, we are definitely
just to
talking
clarify,
about Joseph, yeah. Just to clarify, everybody, yeah, we are talking about Joseph here. However, the skill and the awareness just lets him down at time, and it's one of those type of situations in my head is, thank God we started Destin up top. It was time. It was time to start him up top. And I think the reason why we did start him up top wasn't just because we were low on numbers, as we can say, because we could have easily started Ndala out on the left in that game. I think it was time to have someone who we think, right, can he do anything and can he score? And this is the one thing that I'm sure, Nathaniel, you want to speak about with respect to Destan. I'm very happy to see him on the pitch and the work he did.
Well, I'm not the one who predicted that he was going to be the top goal scorer, so I'm hoping Will's back. So I'll throw to Will.
Why are you going to that man right there when the man who predicted him to be our best striker this season?
True.
But he had a fantastic game.
Gentlemen.
He had a fantastic game. He dominated. Well, he has shown in spells. He's not been the most. I think before today, the most he played in a game for City this season was 18 minutes. So he's not really had much time on the pitch, and when he has, it's been later in the game. He's not had a chance to really get going and getting involved in the game. So him coming in from the start was a nice change, a nice chance to give him a chance up front against a team that was going into it. It's a good opportunity because it was a team that was going into it that was not in the best form. Opportunity for him to have a chance, and I thought he took it with both hands. He grasped at it. I thought he worked really well, being the man winning the ball in the middle and playing it off for Joseph and Gelhardt to make the runs. Obviously, the first goal, really well worked team goal, and it's a good finish from him at the end of it. I mean, there's a couple of times where he was kind of robbed of another chance. I mean, when Slater headed over, he was right behind him and could have had a go. And there was an early Joseph header in the second half that similar happened as well. But overall, his commitment on the field was fantastic. Great finish taken. Ran his heart out for the team. Maybe not as much as Joseph did, but that's a completely different story. But yeah, it was a really promising, fair start for the man. Gets his goal, gives him the confidence, and hopefully lets him push forward from there.
Well, the difficulty he's got is that he's scored. He's played really well. Maybe my man of the match.
And who's back after the international break?
And exactly, if McBurney is fit, you're going to play McBurney, aren't you? But I think it's only been recently that over the course of his substitute appearances, he's actually passed 90 minutes in total. And
I don't want to go on to McBurney just real quick. I don't want to. Our points per game and our goals scored are actually better with McBurney out the side.
They are. It would actually be if Gelhardt would get injured.
I'm not saying drop McBurney, but it's a weird. It's been a weird conundrum. Well, it's a weird quirk that. It's a weird quirk that somehow City, despite having injuries to key players and missing these players who were so vital, are putting in performances and results that I think no one expected them to put in. And I think there's a lot about the depth of the squad that even when you lose key players, the players that come into the side can still do a job like that. I mean, was it Gelhardt scored? Is it 5 of
6?
I don't know if it's 5 or 6 or 6 or 7. 6 or 7 or 5 or 6. Here, one of the
6 games. So he stepped.
Yeah, well, he scored 4 in a row, didn't he? And then he didn't score against Derby, so it's 5 out of 6 now. So maybe if Gelhardt got injured, it would be worse than McBurney. But I think what you'd say is that with the players coming back after the international break, we hope we can improve. I don't think that the players we've got playing now are necessarily better than the players out injured. It's more that Jakiewicz just got his style of play going. And, you can see like the goal we scored against Leicester, the second one, and then the one against Portsmouth with the quick little passes on the wing. We're doing that quite a lot. The way that the fullbacks and Giles and Kyle get up the pitch and we give them the chance and cross it into the box. I've been calling for Destan to start. Well, maybe not a huge amount, but I think we have the most amount of accurate long bowls in the division, or third, or something like that. So you would think having a physical presence.
Most, but yeah, I think we're in the top 3.
We're up there, aren't we? We're direct. So you'd think having Destan up there with Joseph on the wing actually worked really well, because Destan, can get the knockdowns for Gelhardt and Joseph, which happened a few times, because Gelhardt had that really big chance. It was Joseph and Gelhardt had big chances before Portsmouth scored, that would work out. So I've been joking, 50% of nothing is nothing if Destan were to leave for free. and we give the 50% back to Trabzonspor. But after that performance, first start, first goal, part of a winning team, that's really exciting. That technically, I guess our third choice striker scored, and McBurney's out, but Joseph, Gelhardt, Destan all scored. Going forward, second best attack in the league. It's very, very exciting, isn't it?
Unexpectedly exciting as well.
Absolutely.
Unexpectedly exciting, especially, I guess, well, you've just posted it there. I think that leads us on to Super Sergei at the moment, because Sergei, we all saw a bit of the stats before the season started. We all look, it looks good on paper, but I think we all came with that kind of instant mentality of English game to championship is completely different to wherever else you've played, regardless of what you feel and done in the past is just irrelevant. There was always that lingering about, and it wasn't just from home supporters or anybody else along those lines. It was everybody, or every sort of kind of pundit or any sort of football fan that was actually looking at Hull City were kind of saying, well, unknown element of Sergei, which is true. But then at the same time, I guess we can now definitely look at his kind of stats before he came to ourselves and see the were a fluke. Because what he's done around in the club here is just unreal. And I seriously, Sergei needs to be tied down. He's ours. He can't be going anywhere. Sergei is probably the most crucial asset at Hull City at the moment. Because, as we said, we're playing with our third string striker. And we're scoring goals from him as well on his first start. We're scoring goals from everywhere. 12 goal scorers within the league. Within the team, this season, 12 goal scorers, different goal scorers. Joe Gelhardt and what's he got? 7 now in all, and the same as McBurney's got 7, even though McBurney's been out. Things like that for us as Hull fans, we look back, which we have to. We're Hull. We've got to always look back and see where we've come from, where we're going. And looking at last season, this is in the realms of never even crossed our minds. That's the realm we're in now. Where we are is now hope is probably the biggest key word of may continue. And especially the 2 weeks off. We usually say the 2 weeks off is kind of a bad spell for Hull. We did quite a lot last season. We hope that it would be better when it came out the end. Well, at the moment, all right, we've got the momentum, we're getting the wins. But this 2 weeks break is actually bringing back a heck of a lot of players back into the mix, back into the fold. It's adding that depth again that we're not worried about anymore. It's, what is it? Lundstrom's going to be back. McBurney's going to be back. Balumi's technically back already, but, I'm happy.
He would have played if we were 2 or 3 up, you'd think.
Yeah, I'm happy.
I was going to say, I don't think he was never coming on.
No.
Yeah, I'm so happy you didn't, because I just couldn't cope with that. I really, really couldn't cope with that. And it is that situation, as again, just being put there. Hull are entertaining, and the players that we have are doing the job really well. Yeah, we are. Ernest, for crying out like this, Dan, yesterday, it's something that we have not seen in a very long time from a striker up top, when we've actually gone to clear the ball and get it up top, an actual striker win the header and lay kind of that run on to one of the other strikers / wingers, whatever we want to call them, to run on to. We've not seen that. And for someone to do it consistently as well, and putting in the battle and going in for that hard challenge to actually win that header and bring that over, that was something new, which was, again, down to the manager playing to a player's strength and playing to the team's strength. So going back about Sergei, the team that he's picked, that I think somebody else mentioned earlier on in the comments, Sergei picked the right team, 100% agree.
AD.
Sergei's pick AD, yeah. Sergei picked the right team, 100% agree with you, AD. Sergei's been picking.
Don't have many players fit at the moment, so he's not got much choice.
We don't. But even all the other games that we've played, I've even questioned some of the things that Sergei has done myself and gone, why is he not playing him, or what? And then we've come out and absolutely bossed the game. And absolutely
not even just that. When he's maybe made a tactical issue, and we've been not maybe had a poor time of it, he's been willing to make the changes like over like half time into a second half tactically and physically, and the teams usually are improved. It's rare that they don't come out. And if they've been poor in the first half, it's been incredibly rare that they've not come out in the second half and been even close to that bad. They've usually been a massive improvement spike every single time.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the thing. He's spot on. I think Sergei's the one asset. Like I say, give him a bigger contract now. Give him a 10-year one. Don't let him go. Put
managerial contracts do mean nothing, don't they? Because Ajin will sack him.
Not even that. Rob Edwards proved they mean nothing just a few days ago.
Well, yes, precisely. It's difficult to keep managers as a championship club, but he's done well everywhere he's been, and I'm surprised it's taken not that long, and we have all these injuries, and yet we're better than we could have possibly imagined. Comment there from Matt. Would anyone have believed you if you said we'd be 5th going into November, the international break? I wouldn't have believed you if you said that we'd be 10th, even something like that. I thought maybe we'd be lower than that.
I'll say to quote Swanee, who's normally on Humber's side, former City player, post match, he said to me, if anyone had said that we'd be 5th going into the international break, you'd be chucking him in the loony bin. And I went, because who on earth would be thinking at this point, when you look at the summer that we had with all the turmoil, with the embargoes and having to rely on free transfers, and while it was a very good transfer window and it seemed it from the moment it went out, you would never have thought that this team would be anywhere close to a top half. You'd have thought maybe if they had a good season, they'd be mid-table, comfortable away from the relegation zone if they had a good time. I think most of us on the preview pod predicted us around between like 16th and 20th. I think I said 19th, maybe 20th. I can't remember.
I think I might have said 13th. I think we'll have to.
I think a couple of us said a bit high, but no one said like anywhere close to.
No one said top 10. Yeah. No one went past that. I can guarantee you. I don't think anybody in any channel said that. Will
no.
Yeah,
no,
I don't think anyone did. That's how good it's been. I mean, well, apparently, according to some, we've got the second worst manager in the division. So that says it all.
Even though he's won 2 league titles.
That's a symptom. There's a symptom of him being an unknown, not well-known manager. But Regis Lebris was an unknown manager coming in at Sunderland. Look where they are now. Not saying that we can replicate that, but it just shows that you can be an unknown and have such a great impact on the club that you're joining in an unknown league. And Sergei said post-match when Baz Cooper asked him, how would you rate the season so far out of 10? He said 7, which to him means even though we're doing so well, he wants much more. Because 7,
absolutely.
What fan would say that the season so far is a 7 out of 10?
It's 10, isn't it? It's a 10 out of 10. It's 11. It could be 11.
From where we were, yes. Look, from where we were,
I'm going to say it's a 9 because
the suspense of the whole and lock screen.
Should have held on.
Oh, I'm thinking you're saying held on at what, Charlton? If we could be in the automatics, maybe.
Yeah, you kind of locked up that on as well, just as you said. Anything.
9.5, maybe.
Yeah, I've come back now. I'd say it's a 9 because should have held on against Charlton and shouldn't have lost to Derby.
Yeah, I agree.
And if we'd actually got those points, we'd currently be fared 1 point off the top 2, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, 4 points off the top 2 is pretty ridiculous for where we were because we stayed up.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because Luton fell apart at West Brom on the final day, basically.
Who would have thought? Actually, who would have thought that us and Stoke, who were in a relegation fight right at the end of last season, would be where we are?
And Derby have won 5 out of 5.
Yeah, Preston.
The top 9 is incredible.
It's fantastic.
Well, Ipswich are there now, but
Yeah, but
if you go to
they're in the. Where are they?
they're
Ipswich is
seventh.
Yeah.
Well, it's Coventry, Borough, Stoke, Preston, Hull, Millwall, Ipswich, Bristol, Charlton, Derby. That is absolutely incredible.
That playoff run. Imagine if the playoffs was Stoke, Preston, us, and Millwall.
That would just be the absolute peak. It honestly feels like about 8+ years ago when the Championship was just any random club. It wasn't the teams that have just been down in the last 2 or 3 years or have come up with Birmingham and all their money. You have the occasional Huddersfield, Luton, Barnsley got into the playoff once. Obviously, Ipswich that can do it, but they're the rarity rather than the average thing where it really is just any random team. Obviously, my question at the end, and we'll get onto it, not just yet, perhaps because I want to do a big debate, but are we genuine playoff contenders? It's a bit early in the season. I suppose we'll mention Derby. We want to do another debate. I guess, well, 2 things out of Derby for me, or 3 things. Firstly, we could have maybe won that. Second thing, the Ndala goal. Never seen anything quite like it. An expected goals of 1 on that one, meaning, according statistically, impossible to miss. But you had to think about it because very rarely, go on the goal line or not, when the ball is behind you and the goal is behind you, that makes it pretty difficult. So that was a funny goal I'd never seen before. And also, I guess the Panda Ajay mix-up, which is essentially the reason why we didn't get a point to maybe go on and get all 3. Who do we think was more culpable for that one?
Panda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was all Panda. It was the 100% Panda. I mean, look, Semi knew there was a player behind him. When you watch replay, you can actually see Semi look, and he knows there's a player coming. But Panda's literally waved him away and told him to get out my way. I'm gonna have a whack at this. And you could just see the instructions from Panda, but he was just too lax about it. If anything, though, to only kind of help Panda in the situation of this, like that we're talking about now, Semi could have just looked and gone, you know what, mate, you're not getting that, Panda. I'm just going to kick this away. He could have done that. I agree. But when you're getting the instruction from your goalkeeper, you think he's going to actually, he is at the better angle to kick the ball. You think he's going to get there fast and be more committed to do it. He just wasn't. So this is why I'm still blaming Panda, because he should have committed what he communicated. And he didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, it's 100% both of them. As in, if Panda makes the right decision, which is probably just to let Ajay deal with it, because Panda's quite far away, we don't concede. And if Ajay thinks, okay, Panda's asked for it, but the ball's almost literally touching my boot, it's my ball, I'm going to... Even if he were to blast it straight at Panda, that would have been a better decision than to leave it. Because if he knocks him out, the ref blows a whistle for concussion and we don't concede. So I think they're probably both at fault. For me, Ajay, on the ball, he's incredible. I mean, he spends more time on the wing than at centre-half sometimes, like McLaughlin last year. But, he likes to get in behind and put a ball in. So, he's an incredible player, but he was given the penalty away against Sheffield United and, maybe partly culpable for that mix-up against Derby. So, as Louise says, they're going to make mistakes. I think Panda
of course, hasn't
been as good as last year, but that's the reason why they're playing for us, isn't it? Obviously, so I'm not going to. We've won the next match, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, for me, the Derby thing is, it's one of those. I can live with it. In the end of the day, and it's a shame, and we should have got some out of the game, but I can accept with. It's one of those days where an error happens and. It just happens.
Yeah. Tuesday night away match. It's the Championship, isn't it? And we've certainly had a little bit of luck recently.
It's not like it wasn't to a team that's struggling. Derby are a decent side, are in decent form. I think I said on our last pod, Eustace has got them set up really well. They're a solid side, and you just look at how they've gone since then. Is it 5-0 on the spin? They've won. They're really just outside the playoffs. They're they're one of the teams that have got a really good shot of, if they carry on, being involved in a playoff hunt. So it's not the end of the world losing to a side like them at this moment in time. It's just a shame of the manner of it.
That's it. I think that's the thing, Will, isn't it? It was just the manner of how we lost it. It was our own doing. There wasn't any sort of quality or anything along those. I'm not saying no quality, but to concede the goal, how we conceded it, that's the frustrating part from the whole perspective. Obviously, from Derby County side of things, they're buzzing. But from our perspective, we threw it away. And definitely would have taken the point. Definitely would have taken the point. I think the game kind of was a draw game.
Yeah.
It really was.
Well, I'm annoyed because I predicted 1-1.
Well, there you go.
I predicted a 1-1, so I'm a bit annoyed.
Yeah, it was definitely a draw game. And even with the Charlton game as well, that loss. That game, it just felt like, again, another kind of incident where we should have done better. We kind of threw it away, that kind of situation where we had the 3 points in the bag situation and we didn't finish it as we should have. And it's something that's happened to Hull many times. Look at the Lee Senior kind of tenure when he was with us, especially in the back half of that season where we were in and hovering around the playoffs, which kind of, again, will relate into where you were going with this, Nathaniel, near the end of the show, where we were in and around the playoffs. And all we needed was a bit of wins strung together. And we were always in those positions where we were ahead. But then we always did something silly near the end to concede and get a draw or get a loss or get a draw or get a draw. There was just too many draws. And it always came from us being ahead as well, which was so infuriating in that season for us to just miss out as well. And I guess situations like that, especially for Hull fans, is we don't want to see that again. But I don't feel like we're going to see that again.
Well, it's a very different way of going about it, because the Vecenia games were all about control and maybe no risk football. But we certainly take a lot of risks. And we're hanging on for grim death anytime we go a goal up. I mean, Charlton
it's more likely to see that sort of thing in a side that's playing Kevin Keegan football.
Yeah. And I like it.
Oh, yeah.
I like it a lot.
It feels like we have a higher ceiling, maybe, because we do play better football going forward and we can score more. It is deeply frustrating. And obviously, I think they brought Ajay on a little bit earlier than bringing Fama on, but we had Coyle and Giles on and 4 centre-backs. So that does invite pressure. And we were basically, because we scored after 79 minutes and there were 8 minutes added on, that's almost 20 minutes where they're hanging on. The goalkeeper actually had another shot on our goal, a free header in the 100th minute. I don't know whether it's, for my heart and my health and the health of everyone in the stadium, it's not particularly something you want to replicate. But is it sustainable to be so bad when you are winning every single match? The only game we've seen out was Southampton, where we had 2 goals up, I think. And we still conceded at the end.
I mean, it's nice to get the heart attack football we were promised last summer, I suppose, to an extent.
Absolutely.
But I wouldn't say that we're bad. It's just it's weird because defensively at times we can look so fantastic. It's weird.
When?
What? I said at times, but what usually happens is when we concede, it's from we don't. Our opponents very rarely create. Our opponents very rarely create loads of chances. What happens is we give them the ball pretty much when we concede. So the issue is just concentration and shoring them up, because there was times that injury time yesterday, while it was painfully horrifying to watch, they held firm. They were never really broken through.
Yeah, there was a clear header that Panda. It was straight at him, but other than that, it was just kind of scrappy, long throws, and it was bouncing around.
The one that was there was that moment where I can't remember who put it across, but Hughes managed to somehow do a diving header underneath his own crossbar to clear it and to stop. There was a Pompey player on the far post who would have just had a tap in if he hadn't have done that. Apart from that, but I thought that epitomised. I mean, what epitomised City, I think, the most is in the 96th minute. Carl Joseph still running his absolute arse off, just on full fumes, and closing down the keeper and forcing like a block, and then just geeing up the fans. Just summed it up perfectly.
Yeah, that is the sort of moment you need to kind of kill a game off and get the fans behind you, isn't it? And his fitness levels are insane to be doing that. It might have even been after the 96th minute. It was just crazy.
It was definitely deep into injury time. But like Joseph, we talk about Joseph. Like he's not he does have to improve his finishing, I think, for the most part. But he's saying that he has scored 3 goals. You can argue he scored 4 because the one against Birmingham was given as an own goal. But at this point, our player who's mostly played out wide or is the backup striker, having that many goals, a third of the wins, like 15 games in, that's not too bad, I suppose. And outside of his finishing, everything else he does, I think he's really, really good at. His work ethic's fantastic. His actual energy is fantastic. I think getting the ball as well, it's just that finishing touch that he needs to improve on. But when he plays out wide, I think it suits him more to an extent. I think him playing out wide, having someone else like a Destan or McBurney in the middle to lay it off to those players to make the runs. Same with Gelhardt. I think Gelhardt the idea was Gelhardt eventually move back into the number 10 spot and play from like behind the striker. But I think when he has played there, he's not looked anywhere near as good as when he's played out on the right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's been cutting in with his left foot, hasn't he? But he scored all sorts of goals right now.
When you've got Charlie Hughes picking passes like Ronald de Boer out to him, how can you not want to do those runs?
See, it will go down as a long ball goal, but there's a lot more quality than what that kind of implies, isn't there? It was just
that's like
weighted.
saying, Dennis Bergkamp against Argentina, that was a long ball. No, it was genius.
Or Van Persie against Spain, maybe.
You don't see them anymore, or as often anyway, of that high caliber. You don't
the Hollywood pass, as it gets called.
Hollywood pass, because it was the Hollywood pass, and it was the touch to bring it close to him, to switching his foot, to lobbing the keeper. That was it was a beautiful goal. It was definitely a beautiful goal, and that's something that you just like to watch over and over again. So, credit to all of them at the moment. I mean, credit to the full team, isn't it? Credit to the manager. And I guess, in a way, I want to say credit to the owner, but I'm going to say credit to his team, because his team's got in a lot of players that how we got them is amazing.
Well, of the conversations they must have had. Significant minutes, I think Akintola is the only one that there's a question mark over. Phillips and the Famwell, of course, haven't really played, and Williams hasn't really played. Everyone else looks fairly decent, at the very least. Akintola, I mean, I like him, but again, you'd hope.
I ain't dissing the man. He scored the winner against Sheffield United. Is good enough for me for the time being.
Well, yes, he scored the winner against Sheffield United.
Stop taking that away from him.
Yeah.
At least he scored, unlike Longman in that cup game.
That was actually in the league, Will. So...
I was giving him a compliment then. So that's even worse.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to talk about Longman because things are going so well with us, and we'll have, Balumi back for the run. And I'm hoping that because I don't think it is sustainable. We're still, although we have moved one spot up, we're still 22nd in the XG table. Whatever you want to look into that, but
XG's bollocks.
No, well, firstly, it isn't. It's one stat among many you can look at.
It is bollocks. Because what matters more, Nathaniel? XG or goals scored?
What I mean is it's fairly likely that if that stays the case over the course of the season, we will have a point where we get a much worse run because our underlying numbers are so bad, and because we can't sustain it, we might concede a lot of late goals. I'm hoping Lundstrom back and some of these better players back, like Bernie, to hold the ball up, but can help with holding onto the ball, because I think that is our crucial flaw, is that when we're winning, which has been fairly often this year, we sit back and you can defend like that, but at home, especially against Portsmouth, that shouldn't really be happening.
That's
But I'm hoping a
because
46 game season is short enough to just have the momentum to carry us through. That's what I'm hoping.
I think that's a side effect of the fact that our best football comes when we are out of possession and hitting teams on the break,
Yes,
rather than being the dominant side. That's where that issue comes in.
Well, it used to be like that under Rossini, but it didn't
will
work, did it?
Well, I was very surprised that Portsmouth played a very high line, considering how we play football for most of the game. It was incredibly high line. And I'm surprised we didn't try and exploit it a bit more than we did. I thought we'd have maybe seen an Ndala earlier to try and exploit the pace later on, try and get past. Because even getting into the 90th minute, they were still doing that. But I'll agree with you that I don't think it's sustainable just from the point of view of the record that we've got injury-wise is eventually there has to be a breaking point on the injury front unless we have a good run with injuries. But I don't think us not sustaining a playoff spot is the end of the world because, as we said, who expected us to even be at this point in any way, shape, or form at coming into the last international break of the year? I think most people, if you'd have said we were 15th, I think a lot of people would have probably seen that as a maybe not massive positive, but 15th away from the relegation zone. That's a good start. To be 5th, like what the fuck?
Yeah, 5th, not even 6th. We're 5th. We've got a 2-point lead on 7th. I mean, it's a little bit early to be looking at. Well, I say a little bit early. For the last 3 weeks, I've been looking at the other results as if it matters.
And we've got a couple. I think our next month and our fixtures up to the new year are a tricky set of fixtures as well. So time will tell on how we get
for
on
the
there.
opposition. Boom, boom. But yeah, I mean, we're playing Stoke and Ipswich and the other teams around.
Stoke will be
the playoffs.
very interesting because of how both sides have been.
Yeah, Stoke is going to be I mean, what is it? The rest of November is. Oh, I mean, I'm looking at it now on my screen. I mean, obviously
QPR, Ipswich, Stoke.
Ipswich, Stoke, and then what's the game after that? Middlesbrough in December. Wow.
Middlesbrough is going to be interesting even more so now they've changed. Now they've got no Rob Edwards. It'll be interesting to see how they replace him and what goes on there.
Yeah.
I think Middlesbrough
it's all tricky. I think this is. I think
that's weird. To the new year, it's a long, tough run.
Nuts. Yeah. And that's the thing where it leads us into coming up in January as well, and obviously the players that we're looking to obviously expect to all be fit and healthy back at the end of January. I mean, Matazo's one that's named that does get mentioned quite obviously a lot, but we just don't know where he's going to be at that stage. We've got a transfer window in there. Obviously, we can't buy anyone. We've got a loan spot free. I don't know. Obviously, a lot of people, and I think on the Wednesday's show, they had a really good show on Wednesday. If anyone hasn't watched that, please go and actually watch that with Eddie and the team. It was really enjoyable. It was probably one of the best ones I've watched going forward. And the debate about who to get in that loan spot was huge. And obviously, they brought up Carvalho, which is
we did last week, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think that was more hope than expectation.
It's not even just that. I just don't think we need Carvalho. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's great. I'd love him. Yeah, I'd have him at the club, blah, blah, blah. But do we actually need him right now?
Well, we've got enough goals.
We've got bodies in those positions.
We've got bodies in those positions, exactly. And the one that you would kind of look at, for me, and depth, to try and get somebody in maybe on a free, or hopefully try and get someone on a free, or someone down the line to stay a bit later on, would be either another central midfielder or a centre-back. because, or even a right back. I know the
I
controversial.
was thinking right back, to be honest. In terms of
Yeah.
real quality, Coyle's doing really well. We've got
I
Jarman,
disagree.
but
I think left back's more the issue than right back.
yeah, maybe.
Personally,
Well,
in terms of depth.
because
Depth
technically
on the left,
Williams
I
is
agree.
there, but he's played one match off the bench, hasn't he? He's not fit yet. So
Yeah, and
if
he's going to
Giles
take time.
were to
And
get injured,
whenever we brought someone on, they've usually been it's been Phil Mayweather or an Egan, and they've been a centre back playing at left back instead of a left back playing there.
Mm-hmm. But I think the reason why I'm mentioning this is you've got to remember Lundstrom's a lone player. So that's kind of a big step. And obviously he got injured recently. We haven't seen him for quite a bit of time. Mataza's obviously not going to be at full strength for the rest of the season. Let's be honest. He might make bit start appearances when he's back, but I don't expect him to be 90 minute, especially near the back end of the season with respect to Mataza. So again, might be down a bit there. And then any other injuries, we've also got to look at Crooks. His surgery's delayed it, but when's that actually going to come about? And then when that does come about, I know
At
Crooks
the
is playing a
moment,
more attacking role, but he does also tend to sit deeper than most other players as well. He travels that central of the pitch quite a lot. So that central midfield spot in January, I think, might have to be something to be looked at. And obviously, again, we'll mention the centre-backs because of the injury history that we have there as well. I mean, Semi, we all know is accident-prone. He'll pull a hammy. I know about that very well because I've actually pulled both my hammies at the moment. And he's going to be out for 6-7 weeks again at one stage. If anything happens to Egan or Hughes, God forbid.
Well, Hughes was injured half of last year, wasn't he?
Exactly, but we had the depth in that position last season. We don't really have the cover, I would say, for those. So for me, this January transfer market, we need to look at more a defensive side of things just to solid it up.
I think if Giles picks up an injury at some point in difficult, I think we need cover there.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah, don't forget Tramir can go there, Cole can go there is what.
I do think their best work is at right back rather than left. I prefer them at left, right.
Definitely.
I think you need a dedicated left back, really.
You just pray Giles stays fit. I think he's got a decent injury record. Might have been injured with us for a bit at the end of the senior season, but yeah. I think we've been lucky, or not lucky, but that we've had these 3 international breaks to help with players get back. I'm hoping that we're through the worst of our injury record because it's been so poor already. I think Rotherham have like 14 injuries, and Norwich have more than us. They had a lot of players out. Some of them for the whole year.
Every team has multiple injuries at some point during the season. It's a regular occurrence in the league. Every team goes through a spell at some point. Someone mentioned as well Mataza. Mataza will play like 2 games and then do his hammy as well.
Just like
so he'll
before.
be out in front of a because that's a common occurrence with that sort of injury. So there will be, while it'll be nice to have him back, there will then probably be a period where we're waiting for him again.
Yeah, but you're right with some of the fixtures we're having. I mean, every home game is a game we should be looking for maximum points. We've shown we can beat anyone.
I love winning at home. I love winning at home.
Well, we've matched a record from last year, the amount of wins we got last year.
Yeah, we've hit the 5. Yeah, we had 5 wins last year, 5 wins this year already.
Yeah.
But I think
those will be okay.
It says a lot about winning at home. Even if you do, there's a big difference between winning at home and winning away. Like if you're not doing one or the other. So if you're winning at home a lot but not winning away, most of your fans still see the wins. Most of your fans still see the good performances and the victories because it's at home in front of your home faithful. The vibes are a lot better. If most of your wins are away from home rather than at home, it's only a certain few who get to see it properly. You don't really feel involved as much. The vibe, it's a vibe thing. The
you
more
feel
fans
like you
see
can do better.
And I think it also helps with atmosphere as well because the atmosphere the last few seasons has been poor. But like this season, it's been quite good. I mean, there's lulls at times, but it's rare that you hear it as loud as we've heard it in this season at times. On crowds as well. Just to go back to Portsmouth, if you're going to chant mauled by the Pompey lads, maybe don't do it at 1-0 up. You got what you deserved.
Not away at the joint best home team in the league this season.
Second highest scorers in the division.
Yes, don't do that. Absolutely. Right. Well, Ian commented earlier. Don't give Nathaniel the opportunity to be negative. Well, I'm not really going to be negative, but
too late.
Yeah, true.
Oh God.
So the question I've got is, and we can do a little debate. I've got 4 positives and 5 negatives that I can think of that spring to mind.
For fuck's sake, you've even got more negative than positives.
Oh, that's why I was kind of building it as that. Yeah. Are we genuine playoff contenders? With the caveat that we're technically only 32.5% of the way through the season, not even a third yet.
We are a fair because you can't play like 0.5 of a game.
Essentially, what I'd say is that you can't do that. We're a third of the way through because it's 15 to 45 matches to play 46 matches. So you look at, it's a third of the season, and whatever happens on the last day is kind of random lottery. So we'll go with that. I've done some stats though. So we're joint points with 6th as well. So only 10 out of 24 times in the last 12 seasons have the teams in 5th and 6th ended up in the playoffs. So it's 4 out of 12 in 6th, 50% in 5th. So if you judge it off the last 12 seasons, we have a 50% of finishing, 50% chance of finishing the playoffs, which is either we will or we won't technically. So that doesn't really prove that much, but I would have taken a 50% chance of the finishing playoffs at the start of the year. So we've probably talked about some of these already, but Will, do you want to just do your sort of opening thing about whether we can dare to dream at this stage of the season?
Nathaniel, are we currently in the playoffs?
Yes, that is. Oh, actually, you know what? I hadn't written that one down. That's a positive. So I've got 5 for
Are we currently in the playoffs? So
yes,
the answer is yes. Right. So then we are in a playoff race as it stands.
I'll go for that.
End of discussion.
Well, end of discussion. I mean,
you can stop your negatives right now.
I've got a few things. So my positives: second highest scorers, joint best home form. We've got key players out, which means they can come back and be even better. And we're in good form at the moment. 1 loss in 8, which I think is important because you mentioned Middlesbrough. They're second. I think they've won 2 out of 9 or 3 out of 9, which is average. And they've just lost Rob Edwards. They might get worse. I don't know whether they'll stick around there. But then the negatives, I mentioned the XG table. You can say it's nonsense. Fair enough. Poor for holding on to leads, or at least, playing well when we're in front. Little squad depth, so an injury crisis could happen. Away form's not been quite as good, and the third worst defence, of course. So there's positives and negatives. But honestly, the major thing is that we're 15 games of the season. We are 5th, and City are fun to watch at the moment, and I'm much happier talking about this than where we're going to be playing in League One next year.
Better than last season at this point, because
absolutely,
was Tim still here at this point last season?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Just about to go.
He was about to go. Yeah, it was Chef Wednesday after we came back from the break, wasn't it?
It was the Chef Wednesday game what got him sacked.
And that was right. I can't remember exactly when it was.
I want to say it's November 15th, but I could be.
Yeah, I think it's literally
which
the
it could have been. But yeah, as Ollie has said as well, would you call Norwich a relegation candidate right now? You would. So why wouldn't you call 26th. A team currently in the playoffs a playoff candidate?
Yes, absolutely. Well said. So Christian, are we going to do it? We're going to finish in the playoffs? We're going up?
Are we going to finish in the playoffs? I don't see why not. And that's the honest truth. I don't see why not. I don't want to be jumping ahead, but why can't we? We've proven right now that we can score goals, win matches, come back from behind, see games out. We're winning at home, for crying out loud, which is just, for me, is just the big, huge thing as well. Because usually when we're at home, the games that we should be winning at our little fortress, and we weren't doing. Those little details, when you start adding them all together, why not? So, if anyone's interested, the hotel right next to Wembley for those days.
No, it's too expensive, that one. It's too expensive, that one.
No, it's not. It's not bad right now. It's not bad. I thought, hey, a little special, 75 quid. Getting it now. I'm just saying, 75 quid for that night. So, not like I haven't looked.
It's times like these, I'm very happy I have a brother that already lives in London that has a spare sofa for these occasions.
I did
see a stat. I did see a stat earlier as well, which I think maybe helps you, Kirovic. At this point, after 15 games, he's got the third best record of any manager this century after 15 games. I think it's only Bruce and Barmby who had a better start to their managerial careers here. Obviously, Barmby only had the half season. He came in halfway through, kept us in a decent playoff push, but obviously we faded away at the end of it. Bruce, obviously promotion, so straight away. And I think fourth was I think McCann, Peter Taylor, and Liam Rosenior all had the same sort of starts. So I would say he's had a very positive. He's technically had a better run than Marco Silva, who I think most people I know was in the Premier League, but was fantastic time for the club, and probably if he'd come in earlier, we'd have probably stayed up that season.
And it's a bit similar, home form being good and all of that.
Yeah, well, under Bruce, we were great. I mean, that second promotion season under Bruce, we only lost one at home all season in the league format.
Who was that against?
Derby County, because we then lost them in the playoffs at home as well. They were the only team to beat us at home.
Yeah. Good shout. Positive.
A lot of positives.
We have the players, and I think in particular we have the manager to definitely do it. It's just a matter of the run that's coming up soon. If have the deal with that, and if there is a poor run, I think I said it last week. If there's a poor run of form, how do they react?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, they've done pretty well at reacting to poor results so far, haven't they? I mean, especially just yesterday after losing at Derby disappointingly, you go and get the next 3 points, push themselves into the playoffs, and England have qualified for the World Cup. City are 5th for 2 weeks. Next 2 weeks, football-wise, I can just sit back and relax and just don't have to worry about anything for 2 full weeks, and it's a long season, so that's nice.
Until Harry Kane completely destroys his knee and we're missing him for the World Cup.
Well, I was surprised Danny Welbeck didn't get called up, so don't worry, we'll have him. But Gelhardt, mind you, if he keeps playing the way he does, I think the only thing we've got to be concerned about losing a player. Leeds, they lost to Nottingham Forest. They're 1 point off the bottom 3 at the moment. I hope not that Gelhardt will get recalled. I reckon Leeds will probably just spend some money on someone.
I mean, it's all over the place right now as well, them going. And they hate the fact that he's doing really well and that they're calling it back already, the fans, and saying, oh, how did we miss blah, 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 blah. Well, let's be honest. They weren't playing him. They weren't playing him right when they did. They weren't using him right. We've got a manager that is and using him right. And look what happens when you can build a system around certain players that you have instead of just throwing them into a system that they don't know how to play. So, yeah, at this point in time, I don't see him going back, though. Let's be honest. No. I don't think.
I don't think Farke, doesn't play Gelhardt for an entire calendar year. And then as soon as they have a bit of trouble, they recall a player who's been in the Championship. That wasn't good enough to play for them in the Championship. So, I agree. And he's happy here. Do do we have much chance of getting him this year or next summer? Well, we'll have
they
to
were
see
willing to
whether
let him
we can
go
spend
into
any
somewhere
money.
for a fee. To be fair,
Mhm.
initially,
Yeah. That transfer embargo might have been the best thing to happen to us because we spent all that money on Freegan and Barry, who Sheffield United are going to cut the loan deal with Louis Barry.
Yeah.
Woof. Dear me. So I'm glad
it's
that didn't
been a
happen.
massive positive, I think, in the long term.
Bullet dodged.
Absolutely.
It is a bullet dodged.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. It says a lot when he's getting rumoured with getting recalled or sent back. Not even recalled, actually sent back. Says a lot
Yeah,
about
it's
how
not good
his
enough for
time at
us.
Sheffield United has gone.
Yeah, absolutely. I do absolutely love seeing Sheffield United in the bottom three after 15 games. That is lovely. I think literally the most amount of losses in the first 13 or 14 games in Championship history as well. That was fun.
It is genuinely incredible. There is a sliding doors moment back at the playoff
Yes.
final, back in the summer, when Sheffield United went 2-0 up and it got turned over by VAR over 10 to the second goal.
Mm.
And then Sunderland went on to win the game 2-1.
So Watson in the
And now
last
look at
minute.
Sunderland now. Sunderland now look at them and look at Sheffield United now. Like how close that game.
It's all on Kiefer Moore. Kiefer Moore giving the ball away on
Who's then gone to Wrexham and is bagging in goals for fun like he didn't do at Sheffield United.
Yeah. So the Wednesday Sheffield United derby in League One. I'll go hard, won't it?
Wednesdays, that's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? The reason that they're down there.
Oh, of course.
I'm glad they've got rid of Chansiri, but go away for a bit.
Yeah, quite right. Anything else to mention? I mean, I suppose I'm surprised he was managing Norwich when we played them. Liam Manning has now lost. He's been sacked by Norwich. They've lost all 8 home games in all competitions this year.
I'm trying to work out
games in a row.
I am trying to work out why they didn't sack him before we played them. After watching them against us, after watching them against us, how we didn't get sacked after we played them, and then against Leicester when they did actually score a goal, at least they even got that. I know, but obviously they lost last minute the game. That was the one that brought the straw that brought the camel's back. Interesting. So it'll be interesting who goes into Norwich there because that could help them as well. They might turn it around and not be in a relegation fight. I'm glad we've played them at this point because it was a positive time to play them when we did. Borough's going to be very interesting when they see what goes on there as well. But it's such an unpredictable league this season. Such an unpredictable league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's very exciting. It's nice it's a very different season when we had Vecina and we had all these players, and we felt like we could be doing better. And we had Norwich, West Brom, Leeds, Leicester that we were fighting with all this money. Whereas this year it's a little different, and maybe the commitment and the determination, all these sort of intangible things are gonna take you further. Tanside Tiger pointing out our managers Sayers without a win at Zaragoza. They're struggling.
I was going to say they're a team in trouble anyway as well. He's gone in there to try and keep him safe, so that's not a surprise to an extent. Mr. Walter's still without a job.
Yes, it was his 50th birthday yesterday. So happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Tim!
Bastard!
You ain't getting that out of me.
No,
not at all.
Quite right. Yeah.
That's it, gentlemen. I think.
Well, no. Well, there is one last thing. This is international break. We better look at the predictions.
The table. The dreaded prediction league table.
A third of the season's gone.
I'll have got a point, won't I? I said we were going to win, so surely I've at least got a point. I didn't predict 3-2.
And the table. I'll go through the predictions. 2-1. Well, the Derby game. Now, to Christian, I never got a prediction for you, so you got the standard 3-0 City win. I mean, everyone predicted 1-1 apart from Joe and Nathaniel. Joe predicted a 2-1 win to us, and Nathaniel, the coward, predicted a 4-1 win to Derby.
Oh,
I
point!
think
Another
we're key.
point. Lovely.
But then against Pompey, everyone predicted a win for City, apart from obviously the 1-1 bot. Difference being, everyone predicted a clean sheet as well, which maybe doesn't say a lot about how we
Wait, what did
think
I
our
predict
defence is.
so well? What did
You
I
predicted
predict?
9-0 to Portsmouth, sorry, 9-0 to City.
Yeah. Well, I
And
get
as a
2
result, as
points
you
from
can
this
see
week.
you can see on the screen, Nathaniel's no longer bottom of the table on his own. He's now joined by Joe. Meanwhile, me and Christian are opening a bit of a gap. And the 1-1 bot started to take its effect as well.
Yeah.
Well, 1-1 bot would be winning this if it was a Lima senior season. But under Jakiewicz, 1-1's a bit more rare, isn't it? We've only had, was it one this year? Maybe.
Yeah, but we had a couple of draws.
Yeah, true. But yeah, 1-1, it would be getting 3 points every other week, wouldn't it?
Well, we've only had 1-1, and that was Charlton, and they only got that in the injury time.
Yeah, well, that wasn't a Rossini 1-1, was it? A Rossini 1-1 would be the other team go down to 10 men, score first, and we score in the 78th minute. That happened at least twice, I think, where the other team went down to 10 men. Good old name Rossini. Yeah. But things are a lot better under Jakiewicz. I have a proposition. As it's the international break, if I get the result right for the England game, I get 1,000 points.
I'm going to negotiate that offer. I'm going to say you can predict the England games if you want, but you will get no points.
Oh, but
yeah, I agree with.
Would I be able to get 1,000 points if I correctly predict that Serbia will beat us 8-4? I deserve some level of credit for that.
You will just get a polite golf clap from me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go England for 1-0 Serbia then.
After beating them 5-0 away, you're going for a 1-0 home victory.
Yeah, well, there won't be quite as much riding on it because it's dead rubber for us, obviously not for Serbia.
Well, there will be for Serbia.
Yeah, Albania above them, aren't they? So they really need to. If they don't beat us, though, they might not qualify.
They are, yes.
So that'll be good. Yeah. Well, anything else to mention?
What I'm hearing there is, I hope we beat them because I would rather Albania qualify.
Oh, tremendously, 200%, absolutely. Albania, have actually done relatively well, qualifying for 2 of the last 3 Euros, right? So, for them to get to the World Cup would be lovely. And Brozier up front, yeah, good on them.
I mean, so far we're the only team that's qualified, aren't we? In the entire of Europe. I think we're the only team that's qualified so far.
We are.
We might be, yeah. Of course, Cape Verde beat us to it, but yeah, qualification elsewhere works differently, of course. Christian, do you want to shout out where everyone can find the podcast?
Yeah, obviously the general places everybody else should know by now. YouTube, X/Twitter. We're on Spotify, got Facebook, you name it, we're on it. So definitely subscribe, come and say hello. Even come into our Discord. There's a link for the Discord somewhere, I guarantee. So have a search for it. It's there. Join it. You'll find like-minded people like yourselves, like us, just having a bit of chat. No malice. And look, you never know. Just like myself, bring some stuff up. You might even pop on here with us and have a chat with us and see what happens. Happen with me. Okay, at you.
Willie, you doing something?
I'm just going to answer this question since someone's asked.
Oh, yes.
Since someone's asked, my favourite track on Blonde is either Visions of Johanna or Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands. since you've asked very nicely.
Cool. I don't know what that is.
It's a Bob Dylan album, you Philistine.
Oh, Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, I know him.
He is looking very Timothy Chalamet on there, actually.
Yes, that's true. I suppose that's why he played him. Yeah. Right. Well, everyone, for listening in, thank you very much. I think it is time just to dare to dream, as we are fifth, as Will pointed out. I hadn't thought of that. Of course, we're in the playoffs, so we're going to finish there. So, yeah, enjoy the next 2 weeks of football. City, stress-free football, and take as many screenshots of the championship table as you can whilst it lasts. So we'll see you on Wednesday for Tigers Talk, and until then, up the Tigers. Ta-ra, everyone.